I don't know what else to say. Halloweenus, Halloweenus. Yay! Get Anthony dancing.
You got a bunch of damn Halloweenies.
Yeah, Halloweenus.
I don't want a Halloweenus.
You have the Halloweenus.
Halloweenus?
Halloweenus?
Do you suffer from Halloweenus?
If so, call. Never mind.
Wait, what's our Google
Oh,
Voice
there's the
number?
joke that.
Call
No, you were supposed to-
806 ATGN.
So, like, this week, because it was Halloween, like, I was doing all the last minute prep, and for work, we were all being, the group of us were all being minions, and then my boss was being Gru in our little area. But only one other person dressed up as a minion, and then, like, everybody else was their own thing, and we're all like, I thought this was a group thing, but whatever. So, but I walk into work, and the other
It
girl...
was a group thing to trick you.
Yeah, well, the other girl who had decided to be, was a minion had already left, and she had done like a full-on minion, like head and helmet and stuff like that. I just put on like a yellow long sleeve shirt and overalls, and I had the little button that said Gru Industries, and I had goggles on, and I passed off as a minion, and but everybody I worked with, they're all like, "Why are you a farmer?" And then all of the kids I worked with. They're like, "Oh my God, you're a minion!" So I'm like, "Well, we could tell who has kids and who does not."
There you go.
Kids are the devil.
Yeah, but then like the
Tiny
boyfriend and I,
Hitler.
as a couple's costume, we're the Fairly Odd Parents. So I hit people with wand, with the wand being my penis.
Oy vey.
Everything is my penis.
I'm just gonna let that stand on
That's
its own
scary.
without commenting. I really am. Because, hey, on that note, welcome to episode 131 of All Things Good Nerdy Podcast, where everything is Naki's penis.
Everything is my penis.
Everything is her penis. We've got the whole cast and crew here this week. We've got Anthony, who didn't say anything, but I'm confused. We've got Naki and everything that is her penis.
That was not me, for the record. That was Anthony.
Yes,
Who is not my
Naki
penis.
is here. Everything is her penis, don't forget.
Not Anthony, though. Anthony is not my penis.
Thank God. I got entirely too much to do today to be Naki's penis. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. And I'm here too. I'm Chris. I'm gonna.
Chris is also not my penis.
Thank God.
Honestly, they're just too scary to be my penis. I don't want either of them as my penis.
No, that'd be odd. Really
It would
odd.
confirm all of those internet rumors from years ago.
The internet rumors have died down. Now they're gonna come back because of you. But anyways, welcome to episode 131, recorded live on Sunday, November 2nd, 2014. Did you guys set your clocks back for that extra hour of sleep?
Yes.
It was glorious.
Extra hour of sleep, what's that? My internal clock woke me up at what was technically 5:15 this morning.
Yeah, actually, my
Yeah.
internal clock woke me up at what was technically 7:50 this morning, so it was really 6:50. Oops. Or whatever.
Yeah, I had an extra hour of watching TV and getting ready this morning.
That's what I did too. I watched The Blacklist and I watched Murder Porn, aka 2020. It was good times.
I played Clash of Clans.
I didn't play any video games.
I've removed that game from my tablet. It will no longer waste my time.
I played FTL on my tablet. It was glorious.
So last night, boyfriend and I were playing Borderlands 2, which he still hasn't finished, so he's gotten a little bit spoiled by playing Borderlands the pre-sequel on some of like the big heavy emotional stuff. But last night we had the biggest, heaviest emotional part, and he was just like, "Aw, now I'm sad."
Yeah, Borderlands 2 can have feels in it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm still really, like, I'm not that, like, so Borderlands the pre-sequel isn't as long as Borderlands 2, which makes sense because it's, like, the middle game.
Right.
But I'm still really hoping that we get to see Handsome Jack's face get cut off.
Ew.
Well, his face is cut off in Borderlands 2. I want to see it get cut off.
It
Anyways.
should be part of the story.
But it was released this could be my news of the week, and we'll get it. We could just use the other news as.
So well,
Whatever.
all right. We'll seg into the news of the week then. And as we get in there, I did want to point out we have a guest news story that was just given to me on Twitter because I was plugging the show on Twitter, of course, and our good friend the operator came on there and said, "Hey, don't forget to tell everyone that episode 7 just wrapped filming."
Ta-da!
Ta-da! So
Nice.
guest news of the week, courtesy of our good friend the operator from Legends Podcast, Comic Book Legends, all those other shows. So
Hooray for
thanks for the tip.
I have not
Yeah,
talked to Up in a while. I should talk to Up.
I say, yeah, I did see that Mark Hamill on his Facebook put up a new photo of him clean shaven, saying that he had wrapped photography.
I just figured that
gonna
meant
die.
Luke had died already.
He's gonna die.
It just means we now have a year and a half of CGI to wait for.
Yay!
Yeah. But that's okay, because we can make crap tons of
Movie's
stuff between
done.
now and then.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm going to apologize in advance to all of the listeners this week. This is going to be yet another probably heavy Marvel episode because we talked about the Age of Ultron trailer last week, and then they dropped this mega event on us, which we'll get to later in the show. So there's a crap ton of Marvel news, and if you don't like Marvel, you're probably not going to enjoy all the coverage because really that's the big news this week.
Well, my news of the week is kind of minor in comparison to
More in
what we're going to
comparison.
talk about. But as I was talking about Borderlands, it was announced this week that the first DLC pack to come out, and for those of you who are like me and just bought the season pass outright, will be a playable character as Doppelganger Jack, Handsome Jack. So I'm really excited to play Jack because, as 99.9% of you know, I have the biggest crush ever on Jack, and I think he was the best villain. So really excited for this. Yeah.
So I only played a little bit of Borderlands 2, but what type of play class is Jack?
I didn't look that much into it, honestly. But this is his doppelganger. It's not Jack himself. So in the pre-sequel, you put together his doppelganger.
Nice.
So it'll be interesting how they play this out. I don't know if he's gonna in pre-sequel you could play as Nisha the Lawbringer, which is kind of close to being a Gunzerker. You could play as Athena the Gladiator, which is kind of close to being I can't think of his name. Kind of close to being like Zero, depending on how you spec her. It could be Claptrap, which is random and whatever you feel like being, or whatever he feels like being, honestly, because I play Claptrap with my group, and that doesn't always work out well for everybody, especially when we rubber ducky. Or you could be Wilhelm, which is kind of like being Mordecai, or the soldier in the second game, Axton.
Axton's badass.
So Wilhelm is really OP, not gonna lie. But it looks like it'll be closer to probably being like a Mordecai. From what I'm gathering, you're gonna have something to help you. You could split off into different characters of yourself, I think. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm actually kind of I'm excited to see how to play as Handsome Jack, kind of.
Nice.
That could be fun.
Obviously, get Borderlands the pre-sequel and play with me. Obviously.
I'm playing Diablo 3 still when I play video games on my Xbox. It's like
By
crap.
the time I get to the pre-sequel, Naki, you'll be on Borderlands 6. I'm behind.
I gotta play more Disney Infinity too, because I just got the Hulk this week. Because it just came out, and that's badass.
I still have to finish the first Skylanders game.
Well, you got a
I
lot
have
of work to do.
video game time. Yeah, I have no video game time.
You got a crap ton of work. Crap ton of work. So I'll take my news story next, and we'll toss to Anthony to wrap up this before we go into our Mighty Marvel coverage. I wanted some family alliteration there. And plus,
Yeah.
since my story's Marvel, I'm hoping we can break up some of the Marvel talk. So, if you guys haven't been paying attention, Marvel's been releasing a ton of teasers for their 2015 events that are going on. Some of them have been Secret Wars, Civil War. We're not sure if they're reduxes or continuations of these stories. And you guys know I'm a big Spider-Man fan. I've kind of had my quibbles with One More Day and Superior Spider-Man. And for those that aren't familiar, One More Day is when Peter and Mary Jane basically trade their marriage to the devil for Aunt May's life. So they have put out a teaser for the new Amazing Spider-Man event for 2015, and I'll do a screen share here. It's called Renew Your Vows, and for those that haven't seen it, it'll be coming up on screen now, but I'll describe it for the audio podcast listeners. You basically have Peter in his Spider-Man costume, unmasked, with a red-headed child on his shoulders and his arm around Mary Jane's shoulder, and in the background you have the heart-shaped Spider-Man logo, much like you see in the classic issue where Spider-Man weds Mary Jane, and it's called Renew Your Vows. So they really want you to think they're undoing One More Day and the death of Peter and Mary Jane's daughter. Now the question is this the same daughter that died in the Clone Saga? Died, I'll air quote. Or is this the one that they saw when Mephisto was showing them what their future life could be, the daughter they would have? I'm kind of intrigued to see how they do this, because Marvel made a big deal of trying to get you back to single Peter Parker, where he could go out and be relatable to younger fans, and now they want to go back to married Peter Parker, which is the one I prefer, personally. I'm intrigued.
Well, and honestly, with what they did with the story, it was really kind of cool because they did something. Right now, Peter Parker's dealing with two different relationships, and Doc Ock Peter was dating a little person.
Right.
And Anna is a badass character. They made her fucking cool. And so it was never about the fact like, oh, we're putting a little person in the book. It's like, no, it just happened to be that Doc Ock started getting tutored by a little person, and they started dating. And then Peter wakes up in his own body again, has to deal with the fact that here's this chick who is about to be engaged to who she thought he was, and it's not him. And then when he wakes up, when he releases Silk, he's also dealing with the fact that anytime they're within proximity of each other, basically their spider senses turn them animal, and they just start going at it. And so Parker's dealing with two very weird and very different relationships right now, and Dan Slott's been writing the hell out of it. So that's been really fun. So how they're going to swing that towards, possibly him being married back with Mary Jane and having a kid again, I have no fucking clue how they're going to do that.
Me neither.
Unpopular opinion, and this might not actually unpopular. I don't like that they do these releases, these like promo releases. I feel like it spoils the stuff that's going to happen, because you obviously, like, something has to happen for this to obviously happen, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't like that I'm going to suddenly lose a character that I enjoy. I happen to really like the Anna character.
Yeah, I think she's fabulous. Fucking Dan Slott's written an amazing character with her.
So I'm really, like, I don't like that they do these promos. I don't like that, you know, hey, everything that you're reading right now, it's not gonna matter in a couple months. Hope you enjoy that.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
we
not
also
necessarily.
don't know what it's gonna be. It could be another like House of M event where everything changes for 3 months and then everything goes back to the way it was.
Right,
You know,
but
it could be
like,
another one of those.
like I don't like them. I like not knowing what's going to happen, what's about to happen, what they're, you know. I like coming into a surprise. So I don't like these promo event things. But like I said, that's probably unpopular because people like finding.
There's lots of people like me that hate the fact that they release, news stories to the media where they'll put a story out on Monday and fucking USA Today will put on the front page of a paper of something that's going to happen in the comics that aren't released until fucking Wednesday. Because for some odd reason they think that's going to drive people to comic book stores, and all it actually does is piss off the fucking people that are going to get their pull list on Wednesday.
Right. Like
The only thing I don't like about this ad campaign. Yeah. The only thing I like about this ad campaign is it seems like they're rehashing a bunch of old stories. I've seen nothing original in these ads from what they've shown us so far. It's like, hey, we're bringing back Old Man Logan. We're bringing back Mary Jane and the baby that they had. We're bringing back, well, what was the other one? Fucking Secret Wars. It's all like, hey, look at all these stories we did 5, 6, 7 years ago. We're doing them again. It's like, wow, that's real fucking original. So I'm hoping that the promo art isn't really giving us the full lowdown on what the stories are going to be.
There's got to be a reason they're bringing back these old titles of events. I don't know what it is, but I tend to think they have a plan. I just don't get it yet. Maybe that's too optimistic.
Yeah, see, I'm hoping there's a lot more information that we'll start getting, like, as the year wraps up and the end of the Spider-Verse. Because, I mean, yeah, the end of the Spider-Verse, crossover through all the Spider books where they're adding in all these extra characters and stuff. But I mean, we all know that there's going to be huge changes to Peter Parker's world. I mean, there's rumors of that being the possible connection of how they end the Ultimate Universe and bring Miles Morales into the 616 is through the Spider-Verse, where Doc Ock's going around collecting all the different Spider-Men from all the different universes, which is possibly more likely also where we're going to get Gwen Stacy Spider-Man's own spin-off book, and Silk will start getting her own title. And so Parker won't be in 4 or 5 books like he used to be, but there will actually be a Spider-Man family of books, the way they do with like the X books, which is going to be kind of cool.
It could be interesting. I mean, there's a lot of buzz around Spider-Gwen and things like that, so it kind of makes sense they'd want to do something to cash in. I don't know. I'm just now starting to get back into comics for a while, because I kind of took a break and I'd only been reading a few things, just like Batman Beyond and Smallville season 10 or 11 rather, and they're both ending, so now I need to start reading more things other than Walking Dead, because I forgot I caught up there. I don't know. I just haven't been reading a crap ton lately, other than bits and pieces. Maybe this will get me back.
Walking Dead has been damn good. Are you like currently caught up?
I'm about 3 issues behind.
So you might have seen the first idea of the new group that they're facing?
Not yet, I don't think.
Not yet. Okay, yeah. Someone disappears probably in the next issue that you're going to read, and somebody comes running back to Rick's group and tells them something that nobody believes. Which
Right.
is like they changed the status quo in the Walking Dead universe in a way that's creepy as fuck.
That's interesting. Yeah, I caught up as far as the books were still discounted on Comixology, because if I could buy it for $1.99, I would do it, and then when it started being $2.99, I took a break until the price dropped. So that's
That
like
probably
4
you
issues.
through all of the all-out war stuff.
Yeah, I'm done with All Out War. I read the first few issues of everything and their new community they establish. I'm intrigued.
Okay, yeah. So you're just about to hit. Yeah, Robert Kirkman drops a bomb probably in the next issue you're going to read or the one after that. So if you're 3 or 4 behind, where yeah, there's a change, and then something happens where it brings back information from very early on in the series and kind of makes you remember something, and it's as fucking creepy as it is good. I'll just tell you that. It's a nice little twist.
Yeah, that would be. I'm intrigued. I mean, the show coming back is partly what got me back on the comic, I think, and it paid off for me. So hey, there's that. We've got an interesting chat going on in the chat room. Rather, people are saying Marvel 4, Secret Wars, bring on the Beyonder, and then I see the Disco Beyonder reference, and that brought me back. You know, it made me smile.
Yeah, you gotta put him in the white suit, Disco Beyonder, all those superpowers.
And Neil's brought up a good point that I hope he reminds me of it when we get into the Phase 3 conversation, because I don't want to bring it up now because it'll take us off of on a tangent, but we will get back to that point because it's really good. But excuse me, sorry, Anthony, what did you have for your news of the week?
All right, so we're ready to get into it.
Let's do it.
The big news: the giant infographic has been updated with the Marvel's Phase 3 releases. So what we have here, and I'll put it in I'll put it in our chat room. Copy. This one's for us, so this is the one I'm looking at. It's on Comics Alliance. Just updated it, and it has all of the Phase 3 movies on it. And so what you're seeing is every film that's confirmed at this point, and the bottom row is actually the rumored ones, between now and 2020. And of the confirmed ones, you have 33 movies based on superhero franchises and comic books between now and the end of 2020. And no shocker, the big winner again, as my lower third says, Marvel 22, DC 11. So for every one movie you get based on a DC character, you get 2 films based on a Marvel character. And yeah, it's not all one company because they're not all Marvel Studios, because we have all the Fox stuff of Fantastic Four, all the X-Men franchise films, a Wolverine 3, possible X-Force and Gambit movies. And then also you have the Sony films where we're getting the Spider-Man continuation, Sinister Six, the unknown date female lead Spider-Man spin-off film, and unknown date Venom Carnage film, which apparently they're really trying to pump out some Spider-Man related movies. But the list is just insane. Freaking Avengers Infinity War 1 and 2, The very last movie that apparently DC has put on their list is we have to wait till June 19th of 2020 before we actually get another Green Lantern film. They're like, we're going to get to that eventually. We're in no rush.
And it is a reboot, in fact.
Yeah, and more than likely we're going to know a whole lot about that character because they're going to be in the Justice League movie. Actually, I think, looking at the list, that character will be in 2 films before they get a solo film, because the first Justice League is supposed to be November 17th, 2017, and the second Justice League, June 14th, 2019, and then another year before the Green Lantern film. So if it's one GL, that person will be in at least 2 films before they get their own film. So at the rest of this year, we have Big Hero 6 as the last movie, which is still based on a Marvel comic. Next year, we have Age of Ultron, May 1st, Ant-Man, July 17th, and Fantastic Four, August 7th. So nothing from DC all of next year. They don't give us a movie until Batman 5 Superman, which, they're missing a whole year? How did they do that? DC has at least not at least as many characters, but they have, a franchise history of characters as big as Marvel's. They've actually been around longer than Marvel Comics. And a whole year's going where they're not releasing anything. It seems ridiculous.
Well,
but 2015. I was gonna say 2015 has those three movies confirmed with their dates set, and that's going to be the slowest year for comic movies until 2020. Every other year past that has at least 3 confirmed already at this point. So 2017 is going to be heavy. 2017 is going to cost me a lot of allowance.
You know me, I'm generally quick to take shots at DC in the movie verse and things like that, but here's the thing to consider. They might not have a lot of movies coming up right now, but look at all the TV series that got out there right now. So there's still going to be buzz surrounding them, especially
I've continuously said it. Marvel owns the movies, but DC owns TV right now. They have what they've done with the CW, and honestly, I love Constantine. I love fucking Gotham. Everything that they've put out on TV so far, I've enjoyed. I'm actually looking forward to iZombie, which was a comic I didn't read because I happen to not be a fan of Mike Allred's artwork. I just can't stand the way that guy draws. But I'm looking forward to the show because it's a great concept, and I think that one's going to be a real fun one to watch as well. And as much as I enjoy Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., until the Netflix shows start kicking off, Marvel's not doing much for me on the TV side of it. They have one show, it's just, and you look forward to movies. The show's fun, but not compared. By comparison, The Flash is way more fun than fucking Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
That's the way it's designed, I think, is to be fun. They're trying to turn Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. darker, I think. But Neil brought up a really good point in the chat room. He goes, Warner needs to get their heads out of their asses and make Sandman into an HBO series, not a feature movie like it's currently planned. 100% right.
That would be a good one. Yeah, Sandman is definitely one of those ones. Well, and God, if they could only finish off and get the thing set up, for all the Preacher rumors they've had for years. If you could get a Preacher HBO series, that would be the one that honestly would probably take DC up above AMC and fucking Walking Dead type numbers. Because Preacher is that good of a story. And if it was done well and done as a series that lasted maybe 3 years and had the perfect, had the full starting end point and just told a finite story but wasn't a continuing series, that could be perfect for television. It just has to be, really unrated adult television. Yeah. But they have the properties. It's just, I think the problem is that for Marvel, we have Kevin Feige as basically like the hands down yes or no man at Marvel when it comes to all of their Marvel Studios properties, and then dealing with all the other Sony and Fox. And at Warner Brothers, there's no one name. Like Jeff Johns and Dan Didio and all those guys are involved in stuff, but there's probably a room of 20 Marvel or Warner Brothers executives that all have to sign off on something, and there's too many damn chefs in the kitchen. They can't make a good decision because it's movies by committee, and that's why they keep fucking shit up.
We'll see what happens. I'm trying not to crap all over it. I'm trying to have an open mind on things. I did not enjoy Man of Steel. I've said that before. I'll stand by it. Other people call me an idiot for saying I didn't enjoy it, and that's fine. To each their own. I'm curious to see what they do with Batman v Superman to kick off the beginning of their Justice League run. And from a fanboy perspective, to have Avengers Infinity War Part 2 and Justice League Part 2 in the same movie season is going to be really fun.
Oh, and did you I got a kick out of the one movie Move that Marvel made. did you see what they did in 2017? The original release date for Guardians of the Galaxy, I believe, was July 15th or July 14th. That's the day Fantastic Four #2 is scheduled now. And so on the infographic for Guardians of the Galaxy, they have it spray painted, where they crossed out the date, put in the 2, and then spray painted May 5th. So that means Guardians of the Galaxy will go into the theaters May 5th, just about a month, almost 2 months before Wonder Woman. So Guardians will probably still be in the theaters when Wonder Woman comes out.
It's quite possible. So we've been talking a lot
Guardians
about...
is still in the theaters now.
I know, that's the cool thing. We've been talking a lot about the Phase 3 stuff. If you guys didn't hear the announcement, we'll run you through what they did confirm for Phase 3. Probably one of the biggest things is they did say that Ant-Man, instead of being the start of Phase 3, is now the end of Phase 2. So Ant-Man is not considered Marvel Phase 3. They did announce at this Marvel event that Captain America Civil War will be coming out early 2016. This doesn't have the good dates on it. I've just got the years on the Yeah. It'll be coming out then. Originally, I thought it was really cool, this Marvel event. They billed it as the Serpent Society to screw with people's minds, and at the very end of this event, they said, oh, no, it's actually Civil War. We don't like the title of that. Because everyone had pegged it, and that was kind of fun. They also announced Doctor Strange for 2016, like everyone was hoping and predicting.
Yeah, and all the rumors now is Benedict Cumberbatch. There's been no official confirmation, but apparently that's the last person that Marvel is really going for.
He has been in negotiations, supposedly. Kevin Feige was asked at the end of this about specifically the Spider-Man rumors, about whether they're buying things back, and some of the casting rumors. He said if it was not announced at this event, it is not happening. That does not mean it won't in the future, or something to that effect. So
it's just not official.
If you're still hoping that Marvel might get Spider-Man back, there's a possibility, but you need some of the Sony films to bomb for them to pony up the cash, I would say. Next up, we talked about briefly Guardians of the Galaxy 2. They pushed the release date up. Yay.
Yay, more Guardians.
Yeah. It'll probably screw Warner Brothers over a little bit, but still, I mean, June 23rd, a new Wonder Woman is hitting the theaters. Like, it doesn't matter if it's good or bad. Every little girl out there is hopefully going to be making their parents drag them to the theater. So that movie should do extremely well dollar-wise, no matter what. And I'm really hoping that they get a good script on it.
I'm really hoping they do.
Can pull it off. Yeah, it's really going to depend on the script and the director. And it's one of those things where I'm going to be so sad if it doesn't work, because you're just going to think, wow, what could Whedon have done with it if DC had greenlit the Joss Whedon scripted Wonder Woman movie?
Watch, it's going to be like Yui Bull, who does the Wonder Woman movie.
Blood everywhere. At least there would be some action sequences in that movie. She would kick some ass. You know that for sure. There'd be no storyline. There'd be like no storyline. There'd be 40 words of dialogue and Diana just stomping dog shit out of Nazis or vampires or something.
And I forgot to mention Captain America Civil War is bringing back Anthony and Joe Russo as directors who did Winter Soldier. They have announced also James Gunn is coming back as writer and director for Guardians 2.
And Captain America Civil War is going to give us our first look at, I can't think of the actor's name, but Black Panther.
Black Panther. So, you'll have, I forget the guy's name. Let me look real quick. I have it here.
He got it from 42, and he did the James Brown biopic.
Chadwick Boseman will be appearing as Black Panther for the first time in Captain America Civil War, before he gets his own flick later down the line, which we'll get to here in a sec. But next up after Guardians 2 in the Marvel Phase 3 is Thor Ragnarok. It is tentatively slated for July 28th, 2017. And the way Kevin Feige described this film is it is going to do for Phase 3 what Captain America the Winter Soldier did for Phase 2. So shit is going to hit the fan with this one. He also did confirm that both Thor, Chris Hemsworth, and Tom Hiddleston will return for Thor Ragnarok.
Nice. Yeah, and that one, because Ragnarok is the Nordic end of the world, so we know it's not the end of the Marvel Universe because, well, there's still movies scheduled after it. So my question is, what is it the end of? I'm wondering if they're actually going to destroy Asgard and bring Valhalla and all of the Norse gods to Earth the way they did in the comics.
Well, Loki's going to be in it. Loki, or Tom Hiddleston has confirmed that he's going to be in Ragnarok, so.
Tom Hiddleston's going to be in a lot of stuff that's been confirmed. I was going to save it. I've got more news on that when we get to Avengers 3. And when it comes to Tom Hiddleston, I'll bring up then. But he's also supposedly going to be in Avengers 2 in a flashback, according to Idris Elba. So who knows? Next up in the slate, for November 3rd, 2017, we have Black Panther. I'm intrigued.
Kala, King of
that,
Wakanda.
wait, oh man, we don't get Storm though.
No, you don't get Storm.
Nope.
They don't have rights for it.
She'll be over at Fox, yeah. So there won't be no marriage, nothing. But yeah, with Boseman playing him, the one thing, I mean, because I haven't seen 42, which I'm not really sure how much action there really is in that. So we don't know really what that guy's going to do physically to look like Black Panther and to do the action sequences. But it's one of those characters where it's a full face mask, so they can use a stuntman for anything they need. But what we do know for a fact with that guy's acting ability is that T'Challa is going to come off like the fucking king of a nation. He's going to be a regal badass, which I'm extremely excited to see how that guy plays that character. He's a hell of an actor.
I enjoyed what I saw of him at the Phase 3 event. I mean, he had the screen presence to stand up there with Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans and not be swallowed up between the two. And Robert Downey Jr., he takes up a screen if you're not careful because he's just that good.
Yeah.
I'm very intrigued to see where they go with this film because Black Panther is a very interesting character, and the world of Black Panther could be really fun with the advanced technology and things like that. And I'm curious, like I said before, how they're going to pull that into Civil War.
Yeah, the vibranium. It's all about the vibranium.
All about
the next one is the big one, November 17th, 2017, Justice League.
That's right.
What should be the biggest money-making movie for DC ever if they do it right.
It'll make money. I mean,
it'll make money. That's a guarantee.
But
will it make Avengers money is the question. Will it pull out $2 billion?
The better question is, will it make Avengers 2 money? Because a lot of people are theorizing $2 billion for Avengers 2 right now. The so-called
if I was DC, they should be aiming at Avengers 1 and not, like, overshoot.
I think that both companies need to be very careful because the next person to put out a stinker potentially ruins it for everyone. That's my big fear.
I think everybody's afraid of the superhero bubble popping the same way they were when Wanted came out, and they're like, no, superhero comic book movies are done, so let's make them assassins instead of supervillains. And that was how many years ago?
That's true.
So they ruined that movie. Instead of making an amazing comic book into a film, they give us a piece of shit, weak-ass version of a great comic.
Tell us how you really feel, Anthony.
I fucking hate Wanted. It's such a good book. It's one of the best things Mark Miller's ever written. And, like, it's literally, if you look at his sequence of comics that were turned into films, the closer they are to the comic, the better the movie was. The Kick-Ass films have been fantastic because they're almost panel for panel, like, reshots of the comic. And Wanted was awful because they changed the entire premise. It's just, yeah, I mean, it could be great, and then they ruin shit. But no, I think at this point, the general public even has realized that there's no bubble to burst on comic books. Comic book and superhero movie franchises now are going to be like the way horror films are. There's going to be an ebb and flow where they'll say, you know, oh, comic book movies have died, and then they'll come back again. It's basically its own genre. Like, you have horror, you have drama, you have comedies, and you have comic book movies. Because there's that much storyline and that many different ways of doing them that it's unlimited. You can do comic book movies forever. And now they're seeing that the general public will go and fucking pay money to see them.
I hope you're right, but I'm a cynical bastard.
You be cynical, because that's one I'm going to be on the cheerful side of it. I'm going to get comic book movies till the day I die, and I fucking love it.
I would rather be pleasantly surprised than disappointed, so I take the cynical route. Damn it.
Well, then don't watch the Ghost Rider movies, because...
No, they're funny just for stupidity value.
That's true. He does piss flame.
He does piss flame. Next up in Marvel's slate of films in Phase 3, for May 4th, 2018, Avengers Infinity War. Let me emphasize here, Part 1. They're splitting the final Avengers film into 2 parts. There was a really cool teaser that was shown at the Marvel event. It is probably on YouTube now if you want to look at it. That shows all of the Infinity Gems we've seen so far and ends with Thanos holding his hand up and clenching his fist with the Infinity Gauntlet on. Yep. And it is fucking badass.
Yeah, because he's got all 6 gems in the glove.
And they did confirm, and I want to take credit, and I want to say, haha, I was right to everyone that told me that I was wrong. Loki's staff is an Infinity Gem. Haha.
And once again, I call bullshit. That is sad writing, because I just watched Avengers again last night, and the whole premise of the fact that his staff could go in and stop the Tesseract is that you can't protect from yourself. The staff was made from an energy source pulled off of the Tesseract.
The staff is made from an Infinity Gem. They're of themselves.
No, they're not of themselves.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
If one's fucking space and the other one's time, then they're not the same fucking energy source.
But they're of the same source, because they're all Infinity Gems. There's your loophole. You've just been loopholed.
Weak writing. Weak. Weak.
Weak. Your face is weak. I don't know what that means.
Ow! That's not nice! Just because I'm all baby-faced. You're just mad because when I shave all this off, it fucking grows back. That's what you're mad about.
I've embraced my lack of hair for many, many years. It's okay. Now, next Marvel film, this is probably one of the ones I'm most excited for. In Phase 3, July 6th, 2018, Captain Marvel, and Kevin Feige did confirm at the Marvel Phase 3 event, this is Carol Danvers as Captain Marvel.
Yep. And man, has the internet been abuzz arguing over who the best female actress should be cast for this movie. And a lot of people are talking shit saying that Katie Sackhoff has been up for 2 other roles, and that Marvel's never been able to close a deal with her. And so it's either going to be like 3rd time's a charm, or they're not even going to try to get her.
Me.
Because apparently they've had a lot of trouble.
For hire.
What are the other roles they had Katie Sackhoff for, though, supposedly?
Supposedly she was up for Black Widow, and I want to say Pepper Potts, maybe?
See, I never heard her name at all for Black Widow. I heard Emily Blunt a lot for Black Widow.
And I think Emily Blunt, they said, was actually also up for the same too, where she didn't think Black Widow had enough to do, and then for Pepper Potts, she didn't want to play the girlfriend.
So obviously, I want not for Captain Marvel.
Thank you. Thank you. If we could nominate me for Captain Marvel, and like get this to Marvel somehow, I'm just saying I'm available. I will work out.
I'm just saying we need 2 things, Doc. We need a picture of you in a blonde wig, and we need a butt shot in spandex.
First off, I was already blonde. You can find this picture. I have posted it on my Twitter. I posted it on Facebook. I have been blonde.
I missed that one, then I'll have to go find it.
Secondly, no. But
you can't be Captain Marvel if you're not willing to do the ass shot in spandex.
Well, I mean, I can.
I'm crossing my fingers hoping that we get the classic fucking one-piece swimsuit Captain Marvel. I don't think we will, but man, it would be awesome to see a chick willing to wear that in public while flying around and beating the shit out of people.
I can't. I can wear it. I do my squats. Thank you very much. But
that is a squatter's outfit, especially when Frank Cho draws her.
Yeah, that's true. So I did want to bring up, Neil had said something earlier in the chat room that I saved in regards to a Captain Marvel movie. He goes, before the Captain Marvel movie, I want the Death of Marvel miniseries on Netflix. Dreaming, hoping, but it's never going to happen. But it would perfectly link up the Kree storyline starting in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
It'd be a great way to kind of bridge some more information between the TV shows and the universes. And I mean, at this point, like, we're getting the rest of the casting rumors and stuff. I'm excited to see the Netflix stuff really start, because I mean, we haven't seen any film yet, and so I'm really excited to see what they're going to do with those 4 shows and how much of it might cross over into the cinematic universe. Just because it's all street level New York heroes. Like, it's nothing outside or any other cities or anything. But there's so many little Easter eggs and shit that they can put in there and little bits of information. I'm fucking excited to see what they're going to do with those characters.
I think you could do Death of Marvel really well. I mean, Neil even says in the chat room, he goes, just reread the Death of Marvel, friggin' tearjerker every time.
It's a great one.
It gets you right here in the feels.
Yeah, for anybody that doesn't know, the original Captain Marvel from the Marvel Universe ends up, spoiler alert, dying of cancer. And it was a great story because it's one of those things where he's literally surrounded in a room with, all the smartest and toughest people of the Marvel Universe, and there's nothing anybody can do. The guy is dying. And, like, seeing how every character deals with that and comes to terms with it was possibly one of the best stories Marvel Comics has ever put out. Because, I mean, it's one of those things that they do in the Marvel Universe that they don't really do in the DC Universe comics-wise, is dealing with realistic things. And dealing with something like, okay, this guy's got cancer, and, the Hulk can't punch it. Like, there's no way for Thor to smack cancer with a fucking hammer. People die of cancer, and you just have to fucking learn how to deal with it. It's a great story.
It really is, and it seriously gets you in the heart. It makes me sad inside. I guess we should move on. There's 2 more films to talk about that were announced for Phase 3, and then we can get into some other stuff. This one is one I was surprised to hear, but then I started to think about it. I'm not super surprised. But November 2nd, 2018, The Inhumans. And if you think about it, they've been planting the seeds for this already in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
So I shouldn't have been shocked, but at the same time, I a little bit am, because they're not really the most well-known set of characters.
Neither are the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Well, that's true.
$700 million. Yeah, and there's been other things too. There's rumors that possibly Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch will be Inhumans. That way they're not mutants. So that way they're not crossing over with the Fox stuff. And if you remember, right after Guardians came out, Vin Diesel put out a random tweet saying that the people at Marvel think he's Inhuman. And so we might have Vin Diesel as an actual physical bodied actor playing, I'm thinking possibly Black Bolt.
That's what I was going to say.
Hilarious. Yeah, it'd be great because he would look the part, and for those that don't know, Black Bolt's one of his superpowers is that if he whispers, it can knock down a mountain. And so he never talks. And so you'd have Vin Diesel playing one character that only ever says 3 words as Groot, and only doing the voice work because, well, the body was CGI, and then flipping him over to another role where he gets to play a character who sits there and silently and just kind of broods and looks at people.
Plus, Neil brought up in the chat room the biggest cool thing we get with the Inhumans, Lockjaw.
Lockjaw would be cool. What I would be amazed to see is a CGI company ballsy enough to do Medusa, because that's going to be a tough thing to pull off. Fucking 400 yards of flowing red hair that's picking up people and throwing them around, bitch slapping fools. Medusa's awesome, but it's a great comic book superpower that's never been approached in like a film or a TV show yet. Anything that looks like that has never been done.
See, I think I'm just too used to thinking about the Inhumans in conjunction with like the Fantastic Four and things like that, because those are the stories that always made me think of the Inhumans, the Fantastic Four stories. So separating them's a little hard. I mean, but
the Inhumans, it's mixed with the FF and mutants because you always had Quicksilver and Crystal. Right.
But they're starting to get a lot of players in place to have the Illuminati in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, too. I just realized.
That's true.
This could be interesting. And depending on how you do Inhumans, you could have some kind of connection to the Doctor Strange world, too.
Yeah, because the Terrigen Mist can be done as magic.
I think it's going to be really cool if we see in Avengers 2 they use some kind of mist that they don't have a name for to give Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver their powers. So all the fanboys went, oh, Terrigen Mist! And it sets up for 4 years later Inhumans.
That could work, because, when they showed, I want to say it was Baron Strucker?
Yeah, Baron Strucker.
Yeah. When they showed him, the kids were already in the cages, and Scarlet Witch was moving stuff with her mind, and Quicksilver was moving fast already. So they didn't show how they gave them their powers, they just showed them with their powers already.
Draftsman brought up
in the Avengers 2 that they showed them pre-powered and then powered, so we might get to see their origin.
Yeah, Draftsman also brought up in the chat room he loves Medusa from the Inhumans, and Neil pointed out, well, they can start rendering her hair now. Should be ready in 2018.
Yeah, it might take about that long, because wow.
Yeah, very well.
To render all of that, every scene with some actor standing there with like a green skull cap on, and then just, the rest of the frame is filled with hair. Like, it's going to be like Spawn's Kate. Like, they're going to go nuts. Do we want to touch on all the DC movies that were announced and confirmed just so that people don't, keep accusing us of being just Marvel-centric?
Yeah, one last thing. Let me mention real quick the last thing in Marvel Phase 3. We already said Infinity War was having Part 1. Part 2 comes out on May 3rd, 2019. Which will wrap up Phase 3 and presumably lead us to Phase 4 events. It looks really cool, and it was also confirmed today. I want to bring this up once I find where I put the damn news article. Sorry. Wow, I lost the news article. No, there it is. Tom Hiddleston's Loki will play a key role in Avengers Infinity War Part 1 and 2, according to Digital Spy. He's heavily featured in the movie, rather. And if you think about it, it makes sense, because he was told there would be consequences for killing Thanos in the Avengers. So I'm
Yep.
sure Thanos comes a-calling, which kind of makes me think that Ragnarok could be Thanos trying to destroy Asgard to get the Loki and the Tesseract, because he needs that Infinity Gem.
That would work, yeah, because, well, looking at the... Yeah, because, I mean, you got July 28th of 2017 is Ragnarok, and that's almost a full year before the Infinity War 1 comes out. So,
Right.
I mean, yeah, it would work. If he shows up, he could have the other 5 gems at that point, and he just needs the Tesseract to complete the set. And he's willing, and at that point, he would definitely be willing to destroy Asgard to get it.
Right, and that makes it your big shocking event on scale with Captain America 2 is if they destroy Asgard, or if they kill Thor even, because part of me is thinking Thor might die in Ragnarok.
Nah, they'll kill Odin, and Thor will become the Odin again.
Well, yeah, because then they don't have
Like
to
in
pay
the
Anthony
comics.
Hopkins anymore.
Yep, which
Good
is,
call.
you know, a way to save a couple bucks. And then, yeah, you get the relaunch of Asgard as a floating city on Earth above Omaha, like they did in the comics, which is just fucking creepy and crazy and awesome, all rolled into one.
Drasman also brought up, think about it right now, Medusa is a Disney princess. Taking this
Well,
back.
no,
on
she's
that.
a queen. Yeah, Neil's right. Crystal would be a Disney princess.
Yeah, oh, my bad. I misread it. I apologize, guys.
Yeah, she's royalty.
So, Anthony, I think you're right. We do need to touch on some of the DC movies, too. I mean, like that infographic we showed at the top of the show, there's a crap ton of comic book movies coming our way.
Yeah, well, and like I said, of the 20, there's 33 coming out that are confirmed, 22 of them Marvel, but we are getting 11 DC movies that are confirmed and have dates on this list. And the one I think it's sad, I think the one I'm most excited for, it's the second DC one on the list, because the first one is March 2015, Batman, Superman, Dawn of Justice, which, I mean, honestly, if they handled it right, that should be the movie that more people are excited for than anything in the world. Like I think it's the top 5 iconographic symbols that are known worldwide is the Christian cross, the Red Cross for the church. Damn it, I can't think of the third one. But then it's freaking Superman's shield and Batman's logo. Like, those two are in the top 5 for recognizable symbols. And Batman versus Superman should be the biggest thing ever. And I'm just not excited about it yet because of the way they're handling things. But, you know, it's still going to be huge no matter what. It's those two characters on screen at the same time. It's going to make $2 billion. But the movie that follows it August 5th, the fucking Suicide Squad. Because the rumor is that they're trying to get Tom Hardy to be Bane even if the Batman world doesn't exist anymore. Which, I just want to see him come back and do more Bane because Tom Hardy's badass. That would
I
be
don't
such
see
a
him doing it,
fucking
though, 'cause
Suicide Squad.
You're crossing the streams in a way they don't want to, because like, oh, no, the Nolan stuff doesn't exist in here, and by putting Tom Hardy as Bane on there...
You could do him as a different version of Bane. That's the fun part. If you look at Bane in the comics, he's been redone like 6 or 7 times. You could put him in the full luchador mask to where you really can't even see that it's Tom Hardy, but just because he can do the physical presence, and basically the only thing that would match would be the voice. It would be fantastic. I'm just saying it's doable.
I know, but it's the equivalent of bringing Ryan Reynolds back as Hal Jordan. I mean,
Well,
the
Ryan
difference
Reynolds
is
was
Tom
never
Hardy
Hal
was
Jordan in the
extra
first place, so yeah, he was never Hal Jordan in the first place, not according to the script in the movie I fucking watched. But yeah, a Suicide Squad movie could be fantastic. For those who don't know, Suicide Squad is supervillains that have been caught in the DC universe, and instead of just putting them in jail, they put bombs in their head and send them on missions where they're not likely to live, and supposedly if they do enough missions, they get released. And so it's a bunch of villains with basically nothing to lose, and some of the best comic book stories I think I've ever read in DC have been written about the Suicide Squad, because they're not good guys. They're a bunch of fucking villains, and they're willing to kill anybody to complete their mission and live. Deadshot in that book is always a great character, and as long as they do him correctly, it'll be a fun-ass movie.
And the biggest thing to think is if you've seen Arrow, you've met the Suicide Squad and what it's building
Yeah.
towards there. And it's really cool.
Well, you've only seen a small version of it, too, and with very few superpowers.
And
Because Arrow is really good at restricting the superpowers. If they do it as a movie, we're going to see, like, you know, probably Catman and Harley, frickin' Deadshot, a Bane. Like, there could be a lot of different characters on it, because there have been a lot of different incarnations in the book.
Yeah, I think so too. And spoiler alert for the end of Season 2 of Arrow, I really think that we're going to get Deathstroke on the Suicide Squad in Season 3 of Arrow.
Oh yeah, more than likely.
And it's going to be glorious.
You can't have a badass like Manu Bennett just sitting, somewhere not doing anything. You
I
gotta
know.
put that guy to work.
But you do get badass John Barrowman right now in Arrow, so I'm cool with
He
it.
has been fucking spectacular.
I'm cool with it. See, we did move on from our Marvel Love Fest to have our Love Fest about Arrow, because if there's one universal truth, we love Arrow. Yes, we do.
And honestly, I think at this point, I might love Flash more. It's ridiculous, only 3 episodes in, but
No
between
spoilers.
Felicity Smoke
No
showing up in
spoilers.
the hottest... I'm not spoiling anything.
We're not
But between
spoiling.
characters showing up in the hottest dress that actress has ever worn, and Wentworth Miller's introduction of one of the coolest villains in TV history, like, already Flash is on par with Arrow for me. They're of equal awesomeness. Fucking Flash has been so good.
Flash has been really good, and part of that I think is because we have the exact same creative team as we do on Arrow, and on I guess Supergirl also it's the same team.
Oh, nice. They're going to be the same people in charge of Supergirl?
That's the rumor.
That will probably be a fabulous show then. Now that's one that really needs to be on the CW because they'll get a hot actress to be Supergirl.
It's going to be on CBS, I think, is the current thing. And
CBS.
what Anthony was talking about, the black dress that Felicity wears, it would be this. I had to do a Google search so that our entire audience can see it. There you go.
It is spec-fucking-tacular. And she shows up a little overdressed, as her character says, to a geek trivia night. And the Flash, Barry Allen approves. Once he remembers how to talk.
This is true. So I'm going to have to take us back a little bit. We were talking about the Suicide Squad earlier. Neil had said Arrow is doing it really well. He said DC will pull an Agent Carter with an Xmas Suicide Squad series. And Mel said he'd love to see that, which would be interesting. Stephen Amell's also been lobbying for the fact that he and Grant Gustin should play their characters in the Justice League movie.
Yeah, which, good on him for trying to, push that, but we all know it's never going to happen at this point. I think the only, like I said, the only kind of cool version of that could be that they might not do Barry Allen in the Justice League movie. We might get Wally West. And so then they can leave it open to where, they're, it's not the same dimension, but could be crossed over at some point. But yeah, if the Justice League is Barry Allen Flash, then yeah, that puts really the kibosh on any crossover. Because we know we're not going to see Green Arrow in the Justice League movie, not until they get to Justice League 7. It'd be a long damn time before they bring in the Green Arrow.
I think it'll wait until Arrow is done with, and then they'll do it.
Yeah,
Which I'm not sure how I feel about it.
just
I
like
wanna see it.
Smallville. Smallville ended, and then we got a new Superman movie, and then everybody was mad.
The ending of Smallville pissed me off, but I've gone there before. I don't need to go there again.
The next DC one, 2017, is the one that all the little girls will be dragging their parents to the theater. June 23rd, we finally get Wonder Woman on the big screen because, I'm sorry, but fuck the Lego movie. That doesn't count as Wonder Woman's first movie.
And I guess the rumor for that one is it's going to be set in either the mid-1920s or World War I, World War II timeline for Wonder Woman, the first flick, is what I'd seen on.
Really?
That's what I'd seen.
During one of the wars?
Yui Boll's gonna do Wonder Woman.
I just keep picturing that and just seeing fucking Gal Gadot all done up in the battle armor running through a Yui Boll action sequence, and it just fucking makes me smile because it would be so much fun. It would be an awful movie, and it would be
the worst.
utterly fun from credits to credits.
It would just be. It wouldn't be Wonder Woman. It would just be.
No.
Blood.
Okay, so where I got that Wonder Woman story from, I had to go and find it real quick. Bleeding Cool has said, now, Bleeding Cool's not always right, so take that for what it's worth, that the first Wonder Woman movie will be set in the 1920s. Wonder Woman, let's see, the film will then show Diana exploring the world, a world where women have only just got the right to vote from her unique perspective. The sequel takes place during World War II, and then the threequel, I guess, would take place in the modern day with the Justice League, is what Bleeding Cool is saying.
That'd be a whole lot of origin story for a character that's already in Batman 5 Superman.
Yeah.
That's a whole lot of origin story that's unneeded.
That's why I don't think this one's necessarily true.
Because I tell you right now, there's 5 DC executives sitting around a table going, you know what? Little girls don't know who Wonder Woman is. We got to tell the origin story. There's
Oh yeah, I know we're
saying that right now.
you know
that's
we're
the
gonna,
problem.
you know that it's just going to be an origin story at least for the first one.
Oh,
That's-
guaranteed, yeah.
That it's because nobody. They all think that we don't know who the main characters are. Like, I'm not saying like main characters, but like the superheroes that are like staples that everybody knows is like Superman, Wonder Woman, Spider-Man, Batman, everybody, Wolverine at this point.
I would argue
Okay.
Iron Man now.
Iron Man's up there. But for DC, it's the Trinity. They've always had the Trinity. They've always been the Trinity. Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman. You don't need to tell those 3 origins ever again. But they're going to keep doing it because there's always somebody saying, oh, nobody knows who this character is.
And that's why I hated Man of Steel for other reasons, but there's another reason to hate Man of Steel. That's why I'm not looking forward to Superman v. Batman, because it's just... Unless they're going to do it like how they did Superman, Batman, the comic books, where they were fun.
No. It's DC. As far as they're concerned, the only thing that makes money is Dark because of Nolan. So the DC movies won't be fun. They don't like
Right.
fun. Fun doesn't make you billions of dollars.
So, although
want
Avengers
really-
and Guardians of the Galaxy could say otherwise.
You know what, guys? I'm going to say something that you would not expect me to say. I'm actually excited for Batman v Superman because I want to see what they do with it, and I'm hoping that it's something that I can love. I'm excited to see what happens.
I
cautious
should be
about it.
excited for it. That's my problem, is that I should be excited for it. We've had... I did the comparison when I was talking on An Elegant Weapon with Jay about the difference between the leak spoilers at San Diego Comic-Con for the footage that they showed that they said wasn't going to be in the movie for Batman vs. Superman, but there was leaks from Hall H, versus Marvel getting ready to do their teaser trailer on Tuesday for Age of Ultron. Somebody leaks it, and Marvel turns around the next day on their Twitter account and says, "Damn you, Hydra," and then puts the whole fucking teaser trailer on Avengers and gives us the whole thing instead.
That was actually within hours of it leaking. Like, within 2 hours,
So,
they wrote "Damn it, Hydra" and released it.
Yeah, and so that's... I mean, basically, it's once again, like, that's Marvel handling the social media aspect of releasing information and doing stuff, and I think just hands down beating DC, which, there was the rough, bad, crappy, cell phone footage from Hall H. Has DC released any actual footage from Batman vs. Superman yet to kind of counter that? No, we've got nothing. We got the J.J. Abrams versus Zack Snyder going back and forth on their Twitter accounts, and J.J. putting a freaking camouflage tumbler on the underside of the Millennium Falcon. That's the coolest thing so far we've seen from Batman vs. Superman is footage from Star Wars. Like, that's awful. They should be handling the social media better, and the only person that's doing it at all is Scott Snyder on his Twitter account, where he's giving us the great photos, but there's been no footage.
Christopher Nolan did the exact same thing about not wanting any spoilers and stuff to come out about his films too, and we're not running him over. Let's be fair. He was very tight-lipped. We didn't get anything until the trailers. The trailers were designed just to give you a taste of things to come because he preserved a lot of the secrets, and we didn't run him over. Now, and we are running Zack Snyder.
But as much as I love Zack Snyder, and hell, I even like Sucker Punch, you can't really put Zack Snyder on the same level as Christopher Nolan when it comes to making films.
Well, I'm not saying we put them on the same
Zack
level.
Snyder makes stuff that looks good.
But I'm saying we lauded Christopher Nolan for the fact that he kept a tight lip on the production. We didn't know much of anything. There were no leaks that came out. They were very strict about what they put out. They did do some great viral marketing for things, which was awesome, which is a difference.
I'm just saying, but a leak did happen. We got that leaked footage from Hall H. So either give us the clear-cut version of it, or put out something else to basically trump it, the way Marvel did with the Ultron trailer. When a leak happens, you have to respond to it if you're trying to prep and keep all this, hype built up for these movies. That's what I'm saying. Is that they didn't respond to it. They just said, "Oh, we'll just ignore the fact that the footage leaked, and we'll act like we saw it."
Fair enough.
I just think that's a bad way of handling the social media marketing of what should be. I mean, honestly, Batman vs. Superman should be the biggest comic book movie ever. It should set box office records worldwide in every country because it's the 2 biggest icons in comics. And I'm not as excited for it as I think I should because I don't think DC's handling it right.
To be fair, I don't think they're handling it with the social media, period.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, their social media is Zack Snyder's Twitter account. That's not fucking. I mean, Marvel doesn't leave everything up to Joss Whedon's Twitter account. If they did, it would probably still be pretty cool, but it would be a lot less.
I think it's just a difference between old world movie making, and that's not the right term, so don't quote me on that, and the modern day one for how to build up buzz. I mean, movie making has been changed a lot by social media because that's how you gain a lot of interest in things, and I don't know that they've realized that yet, or they are so committed to wanting to keep things secret that they're choosing not to put anything and to build their buzz by the fact that we don't know anything, and I'm really curious, so I'll consume anything I can find as soon as I find it, so that when they put something official out, people will just consume the hell out of it. I don't know. I don't even know if that makes sense.
It does. It does. Because I think there's too many old white men sitting behind desks at Warner Brothers that get to make too many decisions before anything ever happens dealing with a DC property. And I think that's
reading the chat room.
No, I haven't even looked at the chat room. But yeah, it's just there's less, like I said, there's less names at Marvel that can make a final decision quickly on something, and like you said, put out a Twitter response in an hour blaming Hydra for a leak. Not only is that really good social marketing, it's fucking funny. Like, that shit is hilarious. If DC, put out a complaint and said that Lex Luthor leaked the Hall H footage, I would have laughed my ass off. And then if they followed it up with a video of anything, fucking anything, it could have been just a 3-second shot of a camera panning in on the Batmobile, and I would have been stoked. But they didn't. They just said, oh no, it didn't happen. And I think that's because you've got 80 guys sitting around trying to make a decision at Warner Brothers. When Marvel goes over, they have a leak, and Kevin Feige tells one of his assistants, hey, tweet this, it'll be funny. I think that's the big difference between the two companies right now, where the people making decisions at the CW, like you have the showrunners, and apparently they don't have to run everything by those giant fucking committees because they do shit, they do it well, and those shows are fucking fantastic.
Well, when you've
versus
got
what we're dealing with the movie.
biggest ratings on the network, you can do whatever you want.
Exactly. I mean, it's just I think there's just too many different groups of people running things for all the different DC properties, and that's causing problems.
Fair enough. So we should probably start wrapping up because I see we're going a little over. We have gushed about Marvel. I defended DC. Holy crap. So all you haters can eat it because I've actually defended DC for once. Maybe I'm just mellowing in my old age and trying to...
No, but I do like the fact that I don't even know what the conversation going on in the chat room is, but I love the fact that Draftsman just called you fucking Judas. Like, she is getting deep in the chat room, people. The Peanut Gallery are slinging fucking arrows. God damn.
Yeah, go skip a line down. He goes, I take it back. You probably mean well.
Oh, come on. What? Judas didn't mean well? He was just trying to help out. Poor guy.
I will take the 30 pieces of silver that is whatever sponsoring Chris at the moment. I will take that from him.
Poor Judas. That guy had bad PR, man. That's all I'm telling you. It's bad PR. If he had a better rep,
Yeah, in reference to our DC talk and some of the disappointments and stuff, Draftsman said, I know, but I'm tired of being hurt and them not trying better. They can do better, and sometimes they go to the middle of the road and do not go creative in their work. And that seems to be what might have been going on.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think we've seen enough about...
by committee. It's decisions by committee.
All right.
Which are safe.
I'm going to defend DC again. I don't think we've seen enough of the new DC Cinematic Universe to come down that hard on them. We've seen Man of Steel.
We haven't seen enough because Joss Whedon brought them a script for Wonder Woman. They're like, no, we can't risk it. We can't put out that movie because we don't think it'll make $400 million.
I want those 30 pieces of silver, by the way. I'm poor.
Fair enough. We should start wrapping up, though, because we're running a little over on time. So you guys get an extra large ATG in 2 weeks in a row. And we'll just wrap up real quick, give everyone a chance real quick to say what they've been getting into, what they are getting into. And I'll start with Naki first, because ladies first.
Been playing Borderlands, the pre-sequel. Today is the last day of their Halloween run, so you can get like a limited edition pumpkin cannon. Just like the first boss fight, up into the first boss fight is all pumpkin themed. So I've been playing that, and then I also got a code for the new Pokemon to do the demo and the trial run and all that stuff. So
my girlfriend's playing that right now.
Yeah, I have to load the code, but once it's loaded.
Oh, side note, if you get the chance, go to GameStop, and you don't even have to pay anything. They're giving away codes for a free legendary Pokemon or something like that.
Yes, I need to. That's you get it on your pre-order too.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go pre-order and get myself a legendary. Yeah, that's what I've been getting into, plus school. So fun times.
How about yourself, Anthony? What have you been getting into?
Well, I went and hit the comic book store and got me a big stack of comics. But that was late yesterday, and I had too much shit going on post-Halloween and getting ready to start No Shave November, where I got rid of all of no more goatee. The hair's gone again. So started day one clean shaven. See how furry I can get in a month. Bring it up. It's all supposed to be for driving men's health issues. Basically reminding guys, once you hit 40, go get your ass rooted. That way you don't die. Of the stack, though, I really only had time to read 2, so I made sure I read the important ones last night. So Death of Wolverine #4, and like Chris said on my Twitter last night, spoiler, Wolverine dies. The artwork is fantastic. Steve Gibbon fucking killed it on this book, and I'm not going to give anything away, but it is really well written. Though at the same time, with it being only a 4-issue miniseries, this issue does feel a little anticlimactic. But I do also like it's not a world-destroying storyline. It's not the Infinity Gauntlet. It's not something where the Avengers all come in and save the day. It's a fist fight. It's the way a Wolverine story should be. It's something small and kind of the storyline's kind of small and intimate. It was well done. Charles Soule fucking wrote a really good story. And then of course it was supposed to be told in the Guardians of the Galaxy 18. It ended up being 18, 19, and 20. But we do finally get in this issue what happened to Richard Rider and why Thanos and Drax and Star-Lord are all back and the original Nova is dead. And I do have to say, this is a better death than Wolverine's.
Wolverine's
goes out like a fucking hero, and Bendis did a good job with this. I was the first 2, reading 18 and 19, I was a little mad, kind of thinking that Bendis was kind of gonna punk Richard Rider, and he goes out like a true badass. So it's a great story.
So Naki, you had one other thing you wanted to mention, right?
Yeah, I completely blanked on it again because that's what I do. So November 14th through 16th is WindyCon. I have a table there. I will be there with Boyfriend. If you are available, you should come and visit. You should come say hi. I'll have a whole bunch of raffle stuff and freebies to give away. I'll have ATGN streaming. We might do a live broadcast. We're probably going to play some board games. We'll have a lot of stuff going on. So if you're going to be around, come stop by. WindyCon's a lot of fun. It's a con where you can walk around with your drink in your hand. So
yeah,
that way. And who doesn't like to have drinks in hand? Yeah. So that was one that I forgot to mention and kept meaning to mention. And then I thought about it and forgot again because I'm great like that. But yeah, November 14th through 16th, Lombard, I believe, is where it's at, and come visit. Yeah.
So I'll go next. I haven't really been getting into much besides trying to get caught up on comic book TV shows and things like that. I did read this morning Batman Beyond 2.0 Chapter 40, which is the last chapter in the series, and I read Smallville Season 11, whatever the last issue is. There's only 2 issues left of Smallville. And I'm not 100% sure, but I think Batman Beyond might be done now, and if so, I'm kind of bummed. It did end in a cool way, but if it's over, I'm sad. I really am. And I did tell Draftsman before we left I would read his comment, and then we'll close things off. In the chat room, he said, Nolan is creative and works really hard to explore new dimensions to his work and the source material. Snyder adapts it well, but holds it back sometimes from being groundbreaking. Because we need to wrap up that conversation we're having there. I don't disagree.
True. I would agree with that. Like I said, Snyder puts great comics on film. 300 is perfect, and it's shot for shot the goddamn book.
That's
and
true.
he made an amazing movie out of it. But then when he, apparently is part of the storyline and writes, I think, part of Sucker Punch, a lot of people weren't really enthused with the story of that movie.
Dude, Sucker Punch was
God damn,
terrible.
it was pretty. It was pretty. It was pretty as hell. It was terrible, but it was pretty.
So I think that is going to wrap us up for episode 131. A big thank you to both Neil and Draftsman for joining us in the chat room this week and being part of our Peanut Gallery. If you want to be a part of our Peanut Gallery, don't forget we record live every Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, and you guys can do the math for your time zones from there because I'm tired and don't want to do math. You can find us over at live.atgnpodcast.com when we're doing that. We'll also tweet it and put it on Facebook, things like that, so you can find us. If you want to leave us any feedback, hit us up on the Facebook, the Twitters. Don't forget the ATGN hotline at 304-806-ATGN. We take feedback, both constructive or mocking, on all those different ways. We do like the mocking criticisms. They're good.
Mock, 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 mock.
Exactly.
Gamak.
But any last words before we leave, guys?
Mock, mock.
Everything is my penis.
Dick, butts, and bacon. So on that note, we're out of here so Naki can spend some time with everything because it's her penis. Bye, guys.
Bye.